My beloved child, stop everything you are doing right now. This is not a random moment, and this is not an ordinary message. Heaven has interrupted your day because today was chosen. Before time was counted, before your tears were noticed by anyone on earth, this very day was marked on God's calendar for your miracle. Listen carefully. What you are feeling in your spirit right now is not fear, not curiosity, not coincidence. It is recognition. Your soul knows this voice. Your spirit understands the urgency. Archangel Michael is standing at the threshold of this moment, sword lowered, not to fight, but to announce. He says, "Do not move forward casually." This hour carries approval. There are moments when God watches quietly, and there are moments when He speaks loudly through signs, timings, and sudden interruptions like this. Today is the second kind. Something you prayed for in silence, something you almost gave up on, something you thought maybe God ignored, has been approved. But hear this with clarity and peace. Approval does not mean automatic manifestation. Approval requires alignment. That is why you were stopped. You were not scrolling by accident. You were slowed down on purpose. Because what God has approved for you cannot be released into distraction, doubt, or delay. Archangel Michael says there is a thin spiritual line today. One side carries fulfillment, the other carries postponement. And the choice is not dramatic, it is simple obedience. There is a reason the word midnight keeps appearing in your thoughts. Midnight is not just a time, it is a spiritual border. In Scripture, midnight is when chains fall, when doors open, when verdicts shift. And today, before this day ends, heaven is waiting for your response. This is not about panic. This is about positioning. You have been in a season where it felt like everything took longer than it should. Promises delayed. Answers partial. Peace interrupted. You asked yourself quietly, did I miss something? Did I do something wrong? Archangel Michael answers you now, no. You were being prepared, not punished. But preparation seasons end, and transition moments are fragile. There are miracles that survive delay and miracles that do not survive neglect. That is why this message carries weight. Heaven is not threatening you, heaven is warning you with love. What God approved was not erased by sin or failure. It can only be paused by ignoring divine timing. Right now, something spiritual is being unlocked around you. You may feel pressure in your chest, heaviness lifting, or sudden emotion without explanation. That is not weakness. That is alignment happening in real time. Archangel Michael is speaking clearly. The door is open, but it will not chase you. God will never force your attention, even when He is ready to bless you. He will signal. He will nudge. He will interrupt. And then He will wait. Today is one of those waiting moments. There is a specific miracle attached to this day. It is not generic. It is not symbolic. It is practical and personal. It touches your stability, your future, and your peace. It connects to something you need resolved, restored, or revealed. And once this window closes, the miracle does not disappear, but the ease of it does. What was meant to come gently may come with struggle later if ignored now. Do not misunderstand this. God is not holy, but timing is holy. Archangel Michael says you have been asking God for a sign, and this is it. Not fireworks, not loud proof, but a quiet, firm interruption that says, pay attention. This matters. You are being invited, not rushed, into obedience. To slow your thoughts, to soften your heart, to listen before midnight arrives. because heaven is active today in a way it will not repeat the same way tomorrow. This is why distraction suddenly tried to pull you away. This is why doubt whispered, "You can watch this later." That whisper is not harmless. It is strategic. Because delay is the only tool left when approval has already been granted. But you are still here. And that means something powerful. Archangel Michael says, as long as you are listening, nothing approved will be erased. Breathe. Stay present. Let this message settle. What comes next will explain what this miracle is tied to, and why your response today carries unusual weight. Beloved one, let me take you deeper into what is unfolding, because clarity is being released now. What God approved today is not random favor. It is the result of endurance. You stayed when leaving felt easier. You prayed when silence answered back. You obeyed even when understanding did not come with it. Archangel Michael says heaven had been watching your consistency, not your perfection. And today, that consistency reached its appointed hour. There is something important you must understand. When God marks a day, He also marks the atmosphere around that day. That is why you may have felt unusual resistance earlier. Small frustrations, delays that made no sense, emotional heaviness that appeared without reason. Those were not signs to stop. They were signs that something was being guarded. Miracles often arrive wrapped in pressure, because pressure exposes intention. Archangel Michael speaks now with authority and calm. What God approved is connected to a reversal. Something that was moving in the wrong direction is being redirected. Something that seemed locked is being reopened, but not the same way as before. This time, it comes with peace. This time, it comes without fear chasing it. You have been asking God not just for change, but for confirmation. You wanted to know if you were still chosen, still seen, still aligned. And heaven answers plainly today, yes. Not because you earned it, but because you did not quit when quitting felt justified. There is a warning in this moment, but it is gentle. You not overthink what God is doing. When humans overanalyze divine timing, they miss the simplicity of obedience. You do not need to figure everything out today. You only need to stay open. Stay listening. Stay responsive. Archangel Michael says responsiveness is the key that turns approval into manifestation. Right now, God is adjusting something internally before He changes anything externally. That is why this message is reaching you first. Before the phone call. Before the message. Before the breakthrough becomes visible. Heaven always speaks before heaven moves. This is also why you are being asked to engage, not observe. Faith grows when it is expressed. So take a moment right now and acknowledge what you are sensing. If this message is stirring your spirit, let that be known. Let your agreement be visible. Write in the comments what you are believing God for. When you speak it, you align with it. And if this word resonates with you, do not keep it to yourself. There is someone connected to you who is also standing at a divine intersection, and they do not know it yet. Share this message with them. Let this be the confirmation they have been asking God for. When you share, you become part of the delivery of someone else's miracle. This channel exists for moments like this. Not entertainment, but alignment. Not noise, but direction. If you have not yet subscribed, do it now as an act of agreement. Subscribing is not about a button. It is about saying, I choose to stay connected to what feeds my spirit. Turn on notifications so you do not miss the moments heaven chooses to speak again. Like this message if you feel peace replacing pressure as you listen. Your engagement is not small. It is a signal. It tells the algorithm and the atmosphere that this word must travel further. And when you support what God is doing here, you position yourself to receive again. Archangel Michael is very clear now. He says some miracles are delayed not because of opposition, but because of isolation. God never designed you to walk revelation alone. Community accelerates fulfillment. Stay connected. Stay present. And now hear this carefully. Between now and midnight, there will be an invitation. It may come as a thought, a nudge, a conversation, or an unexpected opening. It will not be loud. It will be subtle but firm. Do not dismiss it. That invitation is the bridge between approval and action. This is not the time to withdraw. This is the time to lean in. If you feel your heart burning as you listen, that is not emotion. That is recognition. Something in you knows that this moment matters more than you could explain. Trust that knowing. Hold on, because what is about to be revealed next will explain exactly what kind of miracle this is and why heaven insisted you hear this today. Chosen one, something sacred is unfolding now, and it requires your full attention. What God approved today is not only about receiving, it is about responsibility. Archangel Michael reveals that this miracle carries weight because it changes more than one area of your life. It alters direction. It interrupts patterns. It corrects cycles that have repeated longer than they should have. That is why heaven spoke before midnight. Timing protects transformation. There is a hidden truth you must hear gently. Some of your delays were not caused by opposition outside of you, but by fear within you. Fear of hoping again. Fear of being disappointed again. Fear of trusting that God could actually come through this time. Archangel Michael says fear did not disqualify you, but it did slow your expectation. Today, expectation is being restored. God is not releasing this miracle to impress you. He is releasing it to stabilize you. What is coming will bring clarity where confusion lived, peace where anxiety ruled, and certainty where questions dominated your thoughts. This is not emotional excitement. This is divine order returning. You may notice that memories are surfacing right now. Old prayers, old tears, old moments when you said, God, if you ever do this, I will never doubt you again. Those memories are not meant to shame you. They are reminders of how long heaven has been walking with you through this process. Archangel Michael says none of your prayers expired, but were preserved. Here's the shift. The miracle approved today will require you to move differently afterward. You will not be able to shrink back into old habits, old environments, or old expectations. Growth always demands adjustment. Blessing requires stewardship, and heaven believes you are ready. This is why distraction was removed today. This is why your spirit felt unsettled until you listened. God does not release weighty things into distracted hands. He waits until focus returns, and focus has returned now. Archangel Michael is standing in agreement with you as a witness. He says what was meant to break you actually builds spiritual authority inside you. You are stronger than you realize, calmer than before, wiser than you give yourself credit for, and that maturity is what qualifies you for what comes next. Before we move forward, there is a spiritual act that seals alignment. This is not superstition. This is agreement. When you participate, you are not convincing God. You are positioning yourself. Type I receive divine timing in the comments if this message is confirming what your spirit already knows. Blessing code 1143 has just been released over your obedience and expectancy. And I'll listen carefully because this moment extends beyond you. What God is doing through this message is reaching people who are on the edge of giving up, people who feel forgotten, people who need to know heaven still speaks. And I am speaking directly to you now, because you are part of how this word continues to travel. As I speak, I hear the Lord saying, as you sow, I will cause rivers to flow where dryness once ruled. This message is oil being poured, light being carried, seed being planted into waiting soil. When you support this mission, you are not supporting a channel. You are helping God reach a soul at the exact moment they need His voice. I am inviting you right now, not as a suggestion, but as an act of obedience. Step into this moment. Release your support through Super Thanks, by joining the membership, or through PayPal using the link in the description. This is not a donation. This is a prophetic response. Those who give in this hour are sowing into open heavens. I declare that what you release will return multiplied in clarity, provision, and peace. Do it now. Be part of what God is doing, and watch how He honors your obedience. Stay present, because what is coming next will uncover how this miracle begins to manifest in the natural, and why the next step matters more than you expect. Beloved one, now the atmosphere shifts from revelation into movement. What has been approved in the Spirit begins to look for expression in the natural. This is where many people misunderstand God. They expect sudden fireworks, instant change, dramatic evidence. But Archangel Michael explains that most true miracles begin quietly, almost unnoticed, because God values stability more than spectacle. What is unfolding now is a repositioning. You may not see it clearly yet, but you will sense it. Conversations will feel different. Decisions will carry more weight. Certain options that once seemed attractive will suddenly feel empty. That is not confusion. That is discernment sharpening. God is narrowing your path so that what He sends does not get diluted. You are entering a phase where discernment matters more than effort. In the past, you tried harder. You prayed. You explained yourself. You carried things that were never yours to carry. But now, heaven is teaching you something new: restraint. Archangel Michael says power is not always shown in action. Sometimes it is revealed in what you no longer chase. Pay attention to what no longer drains you. Pay attention to what subtly feels unnecessary. These are signs that alignment is taking place. God removes before He adds. He clears space before He fills it. And this clearing can feel uncomfortable if you do not understand it. But it is protection, not loss. There is also a shift happening in how people respond to you. Some will draw closer. Others will quietly step back. Do not panic. This is not rejection. This is sorting. The miracle approved for you cannot be carried by the same environment that sustained your survival season. Growth requires new support. Archangel Michael says something important here. Do not announce everything God is doing. Silence is part of wisdom. Not everyone needs access to your process. There are instructions meant only for you. When you protect what God is building, you allow it to mature without interference. You may notice that your prayers are changing. You are not begging as much. You are not repeating yourself as much. There is a calm confidence replacing urgency. That is alignment. When faith matures, it rests. When trust deepens, it listens more than it speaks. Now hear this clearly. Between now and the visible manifestation, there will be a test, not of faith but of patience. Patience is not waiting without vivid, it is waiting without anxiety. The enemy cannot stop what God approved, but he will try to rush you into acting too soon or reacting emotionally. Do not fall into that trap. Archangel Michael warns gently, Do not go back to old coping mechanisms. Do not seek comfort in what God already delivered you from. Stress will try to invite familiarity. Choose peace instead. Peace is your compass in this season. Something else is happening quietly. Your spiritual authority is increasing. You are being trusted with more influence than before, even if it does not look like influence yet. People will begin to listen differently. Your words will land deeper. Your presence will bring calm. This is not ego. This is assignment. God is preparing you not only to receive but to steward. A miracle is connected to impact. It will bless you, yes, but it will also flow through you. That is why your character was refined before your circumstances were changed. You might feel moments of doubt creeping in, asking, what if I misunderstood? What if nothing happens? Those thoughts are normal, but they are not truth. Truth is steadier than emotion. Truth is rooted in God's word, not in your feelings. And God does not speak casually. Archangel Michael says heaven does not revoke approvals without reason. And there is no reason today. You are still aligned. You are still chosen. You are still within timing. As you move forward, keep your heart soft and your expectations clean. Do not try to control how the miracle arrives. Control will only sow what surrender accelerates. Let God surprise you. Let Him exceed what you imagined. This season is not about proving anything to anyone. It is about receiving what was prepared long before you knew how to ask for it. Stay attentive. Stay grounded. Stay obedient in small things. Because what comes next will require discernment, and the clarity you need is already being formed within you. Beloved soul, now we arrive at a quieter, deeper place where God begins to speak in layers rather than volume. This is the stage where many miracles are lost, not because God withdraws, but because people stop listening once the urgency fades. Archangel Michael says this is the hour where attentiveness becomes more powerful than action. What has been approved is still unfolding, but it is unfolding beneath the surface. Right now, God is working in what you do not see. He is aligning people, rearranging schedules, softening hearts, and closing paths that would have led you away from peace. If you judge this season only by visible evidence, you may assume nothing is happening. But if you listen with your spirit, you will sense steady movement. Heaven rarely rushes, but it never wastes time. You may notice that you are being asked to wait in ways that feel unfamiliar. In the past, waiting felt heavy and discouraging. This waiting feels different. It carries expectancy without anxiety. That difference is not accidental. It is a sign that your trust has matured. Archangel Michael says, when waiting no longer threatens your faith, you are close to manifestation. There is something else being healed right now, your perception of God. Old disappointments may have caused you to expect less than what heaven intended. You learn to lower expectations to protect yourself from pain. But God is gently lifting those expectations again, not to tease you, but to restore truth. He is better than what your past experiences taught you. Pay attention to your inner dialogue. The way you speak to yourself is changing. Where there was self-doubt, there is now reflection. Where there was self-criticism, there is now compassion. This internal shift is part of the miracle. God does not only change circumstances, He changes the lens through which you experience them. Archangel Michael reveals that one of the reasons this miracle required timing is because it could not arrive while you were still tied emotionally to old outcomes. You had to be free enough to receive without fear of losing again. Freedom precedes fulfillment. You might feel moments where your old self tries to resurface. Old worries, old habits of overthinking, Old reactions. Do not be alarmed. This does not mean you are going backward. It means the old patterns are losing authority and making one final attempt to stay relevant. Gently refuse them. You do not need to fight. Peace is your defense now. There is also a lesson in obedience happening here. Not dramatic obedience and not public obedience, but quiet, private obedience. Choosing rest when you could worry. Choosing prayer when you could complain. Choosing trust when you could control. These small decisions are building a foundation strong enough to carry what God is releasing. Archangel Michael says the miracle is not fragile, but you are still learning how to hold it. That is why God is teaching you to move slower, to listen longer, and to respond thoughtfully. Speed would have damaged what patience is protecting. You may begin to notice subtle confirmations, repeated words, scripture appearing unexpectedly, conversations that echo what God has already spoken to you privately. These are not coincidences. They are reinforcements. Heaven often confirms quietly before it reveals publicly. Do not rush to explain what you are experiencing to others. Some things need time to become clear even to you. Understanding will come, but it comes best when you let revelation settle rather than forcing interpretation. This season is also teaching you boundaries. Not everyone deserves access to your energy, your time, or your vulnerability. This is not isolation. This is wisdom. The miracle you are carrying deserves protection while it grows. Archangel Michael speaks gently but firmly now. Do not measure progress by speed. Measure it by peace. If you have more peace than before, you are moving in the right direction, even if circumstances have not fully shifted yet. There will be a moment soon when something clicks. When what God has been doing internally connects with what He begins to do externally. When preparation meets opportunity. That moment cannot be rushed, but it cannot be missed if you remain attentive. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are in process, and it is a holy one. Remain steady. Remain listening. Because what comes next will require you to recognize the moment God turns preparation into visible fulfillment. My precious one, this is where awareness becomes essential, because the miracle does not arrive with noise, it arrives with recognition. Many people miss divine moments not because God is silent, but because they are looking for the wrong signals. Archangel Michael says the next phase of your miracle will feel ordinary on the surface, yet weighty in the spirit. You must learn to trust what feels calm, not just what feels dramatic. Right now, heaven is adjusting your sensitivity. You are being trained to notice subtle shifts rather than obvious signs. A conversation that lands differently. An opportunity that feels peaceful instead of exciting. A door that opens without struggle. These are indicators of divine alignment. God is not testing you with confusion. He is guiding you with clarity. You may notice that urgency is leaving your spirit. Where you once felt pressure to decide quickly, you now feel permission to pause. That pause is not hesitation, it is wisdom. Archangel Michael explains that God is slowing your pace so that you do not outrun His instruction. Speed would have caused you to repeat old mistakes. Stillness is protecting your future. Something else is happening now. Your discernment regarding people is sharpening. You are beginning to sense who is meant to walk with you into this next season and who was only meant to walk with you through the last one. This realization may feel bittersweet, but it is necessary. The miracle approved for you requires the right environment to thrive. You not feel guilty for outgrowing spaces that once felt safe. Growth often feels like loss before it feels like freedom. Archangel Michael says God is not removing support. He is replacing it with alignment. What is leaving could not sustain what is coming. There is also an internal shift taking place regarding your prayers. You are no longer asking God to prove himself. You are beginning to partner with him. That shift changes everything. When prayer becomes agreement instead of pleading, manifestation accelerates. Now pause for a moment and recognize this. If you are still here, listening, leaning in, and receiving, that means this word is resonating beyond information. It is activating something. And when something speaks to your spirit, it is meant to be shared. Take a moment now to engage. Like this message as a sign of agreement. When you like it, you are not just pressing a button. You are declaring that this word matters. Share this message with someone who needs reassurance that God has not forgotten them. You may be the answer to their silent prayer. If you have not yet subscribed, do it now. This channel is not built on trends but on timing. Subscribing keeps you connected to moments where heaven speaks again. Turn on notifications so you do not miss what God releases next. And write a comment expressing what you feel God is doing in your life right now. When you speak it, you align with it. Archangel Michael emphasizes that community strengthens faith. Isolation weakens it. Staying connected keeps your discernment sharp and your expectation alive. Now hear this carefully. There will be a choice presented to you soon. It will not look spiritual. It will look practical. But it will carry spiritual consequences. You will know it is from God because it will come with peace, even if it stretches you. Choose peace over familiarity. Choose alignment over comfort. The enemy's strategy in this season is not fear. It is distraction. Small distractions. Harmless distractions. Things that pull your attention just enough to dull your awareness. Stay alert, not anxious. Awareness keeps you aligned. Archangel Michael says your obedience does not need to be loud. It needs to be consistent. Heaven responds to consistency faster than intensity. Keep doing the small things faithfully. Keep listening. Keep trusting. You are closer than you think. And what is about to unfold next will connect everything you have been sensing into one clear direction. Hold on. You will want to hear what comes next, because this is where clarity becomes unmistakable. Beloved one, now we enter a phase where clarity settles into conviction. What once felt like gentle impressions will begin to feel like inner certainty. This is not pressure. This is alignment solidifying. Archangel Michael says, when God prepares to move something in the natural, he first anchors it in the spirit so it cannot be shaken by doubt or delay. You may notice that you are no longer asking as many questions. The constant why and when begin to fade. Not because everything is answered, but because trust has taken root. Trust does not need explanations to survive. It rests in knowing who God is, not in understanding every detail of what he is doing. This is also where courage begins to rise quietly. Not loud bravery, not dramatic declarations, but steady resolve. You are beginning to sense that even if the miracle unfolds differently than you imagined, you will still be okay. That confidence is not human strength. It is divine assurance settling into your spirit. Archangel Michael reveals that this miracle is intertwined with your identity more than your circumstances. God is restoring how you see yourself. For a long time, you measured yourself by outcomes, by what worked and what failed, by what others acknowledged or ignored. Now God is recalibrating your worth back to truth. You are valued because you are his, not because of what you produce. This shift matters because the next season will require you to move without seeking constant validation. You will need to trust what God told you even when others do not immediately understand it. Approval from heaven always comes before agreement from people. There may be moments now when you feel a quiet separation happening internally. Not from people physically, but from opinions emotionally. You are learning not to absorb every voice. This is maturity. This is discernment growing roots. Archangel Michael says, when you stop needing permission to obey God, you step into authority. Something else is being restored, your ability to hope without fear. Hope that is not desperate. Hope that is not fragile. Hope that does not collapse when timelines shift. That kind of hope is powerful because it cannot be manipulated by circumstances. You might feel prompted to revisit something you walked away from long ago, not to repeat it but to redeem it. This could be a dream, a calling, a skill, or even a conversation that ended unfinished. Do not assume this nudge is nostalgia. It may be restoration. God often returns us to places we thought were closed, not to reopen wounds, but to heal them properly. Archangel Michael says healing is not about erasing the past. It is about removing its authority over your future. What once limited you will soon inform you. What once hurt you will soon strengthen you. Be patient with yourself in this stage. You are unlearning old survival patterns and learning new ways of trusting. That process takes gentleness. God is not rushing you. He is walking with you. You may notice an increase in peace during moments that once triggered anxiety. That is not accidental. It is evidence that your inner foundation is changing. When peace becomes your default response, you are no longer easily shaken. There will be opportunities ahead that look good on the surface, but do not align with your spirit. Do not be afraid to say no. Saying no to what is merely good creates space for what is God-ordained. Archangel Michael emphasizes that discernment will save you time, energy, and unnecessary battles. This is also a season of integrity. Doing the right thing even when no one is watching. Choosing honesty when shortcuts are available. Choosing patience when impatience feels justified. These decisions are shaping the kind of blessing you will receive. God matches blessings to character, not just desire. If you feel tired at times, rest without guilt. Rest is not retreat. It is refueling. Even Archangel Michael stands ready, not restless. Strength is preserved through wisdom, not exhaustion. Pay attention to your dreams, your thoughts during quiet moments, and the scriptures that catch your attention unexpectedly. God often speaks through repetition when He wants to establish something firmly. If you keep hearing the same message in different ways, it is because heaven is emphasizing importance. You are being led, not pushed. Guided, not forced. Loved, not tested harshly. This miracle is unfolding at the pace of grace, not pressure. Remain steady. Remain open. Because what comes next will reveal how this inner transformation begins to reflect outwardly, and why the next phase will feel unmistakably different from everything before. Beloved child, now the moment arrives where the unseen begins to touch the seen. What has been forming quietly within you is starting to create ripples around you. This is the phase where many people feel a strange mixture of calm and anticipation at the same time. Archangel Michael says this is not confusion. It is convergence. Inner preparation and external movement are beginning to meet. You may notice that situations around you are shifting without your effort. People may reach out unexpectedly. Information may surface at the right time. Obstacles that once felt immovable may suddenly feel lighter. Do not rush to label this as coincidence. When God moves, He often does so subtly at first, so that faith, not fear, guides your response. This is also where trust is tested in a new way. Earlier, trust meant waiting. Now, trust means responding. When God opens a door, hesitation can delay what obedience would accelerate. Archangel Michael urges you to stay attentive, not anxious. Discernment will tell you when to move. Peace will confirm it. There is something deeply personal about this stage. God is honoring the private sacrifices you made when no one applauded. The nights you stayed quiet instead of reacting. The moments you chose prayer instead of control. Those choices shape your readiness more than you realize. Heaven never forgets unseen obedience. You may feel a growing confidence that does not come from certainty of outcome, but from certainty of God's presence. It is the kind of confidence that sustains miracles long after they arrive. Archangel Michael says miracles that are sustained bring more glory than miracles that are merely impressive. At this point, it is important not to compare your journey with anyone else's. Comparison distorts gratitude and weakens discernment. What God is doing with you is tailored, precise, and intentional. Another person's timeline has nothing to say about yours. There may still be moments of silence between movements. Do not interpret silence as absence. Sometimes God pauses so you can breathe, reflect, and recognize how far you have already come. Gratitude anchors blessings. Take time to acknowledge progress, even if it feels incomplete. Archangel Michael speaks gently now. Protect your heart from impatience. Impatience often disguises itself as eagerness. But eagerness listens. Impatience rushes. Stay eager, not impatient. What God is building is worth the careful unfolding. You might sense a call to step into greater responsibility soon. This could be in how you speak, how you lead, or how you serve. Do not shrink back. Responsibility is not burden when it comes with grace. God does not assign weight without providing strength. This is also a season where your words matter deeply. Speak life over yourself. Speak peace over situations still forming. Avoid negative declarations, even in jest. Your mouth is aligning with your future more than you think. Archangel Michael says heaven is watching your responses more than your results. Respond with humility. Respond with trust. Respond with obedience. Results will follow. Now, before we move further, there is a sacred moment of agreement that seals what is being released right now. Type "I walk in divine alignment" in the comments if this message is confirming what God is doing in your life. Blessing code 2689 has just been activated over your obedience and awareness. And now hear this with clarity and purpose. What God is doing through this message is larger than a single moment. It is reaching people who are weary, searching, and quietly asking if heaven still notices them. As I speak, I hear the Lord saying, "Those who sow into this word are lighting lamps for others who are still in darkness." I am speaking to you personally now. If this message has strengthened you, guided you, or brought peace to your spirit, this is your moment to respond. When you support this mission, through super thanks, by joining the membership, or through PayPal using the link in the description, you are not giving to a channel. You are partnering with God to release hope. This is a prophetic act, not a casual gesture. As you give, I declare that God will open doors you did not knock on, provide answers you did not ask for yet, and cover you with peace where anxiety once lived. Do it now. Obey the nudge. Step into alignment and watch how heaven responds. Stay present, because what unfolds next will reveal how this alignment begins to shape your future in ways you have not yet imagined. Beloved one, now you step into a season where movement becomes intentional. What once felt like waiting has transformed into discerned action. This is not hurried motion, and it is not passive stillness. It is purposeful alignment. Archangel Michael says this is the stage where heaven and earth begin to cooperate visibly, because your inner posture now matches God's instruction. You may sense that your decisions carry more clarity than before. Even when outcomes are not fully known, you feel guided rather than guessing. This is one of the quiet signs that your spirit is aligned. When God leads, He does not always reveal the full picture, but He always provides enough light for the next step. At this point, you might notice a growing intolerance for confusion. Things that once kept you stuck no longer hold your attention. You are less willing to entertain doubt, drama, or emotional back and forth. This is not hardness at heart. It is focus. Archangel Michael says focus is the evidence of maturity. Something important is happening in how you value your time. You are beginning to recognize that not every opportunity deserves your energy. Not every conversation requires your response. Not every door that opens is meant to be walked through. This discernment is protecting the miracle you are carrying. You may feel prompted to simplify certain areas of your life. Fewer explanations, fewer obligations, fewer distractions. This simplification is not loss, it is refinement. God often removes excess so that clarity can breathe. When your life becomes quieter, His voice becomes clearer. Archangel Michael reveals that the miracle unfolding in your life is connected to sustainability. God is not interested in giving you something that overwhelms you or pulls you away from peace. What He releases will fit the rhythm He hath been teaching you. That rhythm includes rest, boundaries, and trust. You may encounter moments where your old mindset tries to resurface, questioning whether you truly deserve what is coming. Do not entertain those thoughts. Deserving has nothing to do with grace. God gives because He is good and not because you are flawless. Your role is not to qualify yourself, but to receive with humility. This season also brings a deeper awareness of God's nearness. You may not feel intense emotion, but you feel steadiness. A sense that you are not walking alone. That awareness is more valuable than emotional highs. It anchors you when circumstances shift. There is a strengthening of your spiritual backbone happening now. You are becoming less reactive and more responsive. Less defensive and more discerning. The strength does not come from control. It comes from surrender. Archangel Michael says surrendered people are the hardest to shake. You might notice that others begin to sense something different about you. They may not be able to name it, but they feel it. Calm attracts questions. Peace invites trust. Without trying, you may find yourself encouraging others simply by being present. This is influence without effort. Be mindful not to minimize what God is doing just because it feels gentle. Gentle does not mean small. Some of the most powerful shifts happen quietly. Earthquakes are not always loud. Some reshape landscapes beneath the surface first. There may still be moments where patience is required. Do not confuse patience with delay. Patience is active trust. It is choosing to remain aligned even when the final piece has not yet appeared. Archangel Michael assures you that nothing is missing. Nothing has been overlooked. If you feel tired, it is not because you are weak. It is because growth requires energy. Rest when needed. Reflect when prompted. Do not push yourself to perform spiritually. God is not impressed by strain. He is honored by trust. This is also a time to watch your reactions closely. Your reactions reveal where healing is complete and where it is still ongoing. When something no longer triggers you, it no longer controls you. Celebrate that progress. Healing is not dramatic, it is consistent. As you continue forward, remember this: obedience does not always feel brave, but it is always powerful. Small, consistent obedience shapes outcomes more than bold, occasional actions. Keep choosing alignment in the ordinary moments. Archangel Michael speaks peace over you now. He says you are walking correctly. You are listening well. You are responding wisely. There is no need to rush ahead or look behind. Stay present, because what comes next will bring a moment of decision that confirms how far you have come, and it will require the clarity you are developing right now. My beloved one, now we arrive at a decisive stretch of this journey where awareness must turn into ownership. What God has been preparing you for is no longer abstract. It is becoming tangible, practical, and actionable. Archangel Michael says this is where many people hesitate, not because they doubt God, but because they underestimate themselves. But hear this clearly. Heaven does not bring you this far to leave you unsure now. You are standing in a season where your choices matter more than your emotions. Feelings may fluctuate, but direction must remain steady. God is not asking you to feel ready. He is asking you to trust that readiness has already been built into you through every step you walked, every delay you endured, and every quiet victory you survived. There is a maturity settling into you that others may not notice immediately, but you will. You respond slower. You listen longer. You react less. These are not signs of passivity. They are signs of authority. Archangel Michael says authority does not announce itself. It carries itself calmly. At this stage, you may feel an urge to go back and explain yourself to people from your past. Resist that urge. Closure does not always require conversation. Sometimes growth itself is the explanation. You do not owe everyone access to the new version of you. God is also teaching you how to steward momentum. Momentum is dangerous when unmatched. That is why heaven has been training you in patience before acceleration. When movement increases, wisdom must lead. Do not abandon discernment just because doors are opening. You may notice opportunities presenting themselves in clusters rather than isolation. This can feel overwhelming if you are not careful. You do not need to say yes to everything that looks good. Ask one simple question internally. Does this align with the peace God has been building in me? If peace leaves, alignment likely has too. Archangel Michael is very clear here. The miracle God approved was never meant to exhaust you. If something drains you deeply, it is not from Him. God adds without stealing peace. He builds without burning you out. Now pause for a moment and recognize something important. The fact that you are still listening, still engaged, still leaning in means this word is not passing over you. It is working within you. And moments like this are meant to be anchored. This is why your engagement matters right now. Like this message as an act of agreement. When you like it, you are not supporting noise, you are affirming truth. Share this message with someone who feels uncertain about their direction. Let this be the reassurance they need. If you have not yet subscribed, do it now. This is not about numbers, it is about staying connected to timely words. Subscribing keeps you aligned with moments when heaven speaks again. Turn on notifications so you are present when the next confirmation comes. And take a moment to comment. Write what you sense God is doing in your life right now. Words have power. When you declare alignment, you reinforce it. Archangel Michael reminds you that faith strengthens when it is expressed. Silent belief sustains you, but spoken agreement activates you. Now listen carefully. There is a subtle temptation in this season to become overly self-reliant. You have grown stronger, wiser, and more discerning, but do not mistake growth for independence from God. Strength does not replace surrender. It complements it. Keep praying, not out of desperation, but out of connection. Keep listening, not because you are confused, but because relationship matters. God is not a destination. He is the guide. There will be a moment very soon where you feel prompted to act without full reassurance. Not recklessly, but faithfully. That moment will test whether you trust God's voice more than your need for certainty. When that moment comes, remember how far He has already carried you. Do not rush ahead of grace. Do not lag behind fear. Stay in step. Wait, because what is coming next ties everything together in a way that will surprise you, and you will be glad you stayed attentive until this point. Beloved child, now you are standing at the edge of integration, where everything you have learned, sensed, and endured begins to merge into one clear posture. This is not a new instruction season. This is a confirmation season. Archangel Michael says when God repeats himself gently, it is not because you did not hear him before, but because he is sealing what he already spoke. You may feel a deep calm settling over you that is difficult to explain. Not excitement, not nervous anticipation, but a grounded assurance. This calm is not passive. It is powerful. It means your spirit has caught up with your destiny. When the inside agrees with the future, resistance loses its voice. There is an important realization forming now. You are no longer chasing the miracle. You are walking toward it with dignity. That shift matters. Chasing creates anxiety. Walking creates authority. Archangel Michael says authority is knowing that what is meant for you will meet you at the right moment without panic. You might notice that your prayers have become shorter but deeper. Fewer words, more presence. Less explaining, more listening. This is intimacy. God is not impressed by length. He is drawn to sincerity. When your heart speaks without strain, heaven listens closely. Something else is happening quietly. Your relationship with uncertainty is changing. What once unsettled you now simply invites discernment. You are learning to live without needing constant reassurance. This does not mean you no longer desire confirmation. It means confirmation is no longer your foundation. Trust is. Archangel Michael reveals that this miracle carries longevity. It is not a temporary fix or a short-lived breakthrough. It is something that will grow with you, adapt with you, and serve you in multiple seasons. That is why God took His time. Permanent things require deep roots. You may begin to see patterns from your past with new clarity. Not regret, but understanding. You can now identify where God protected you by saying no, where He guided you through redirection, and where He delayed because you were still becoming. This awareness is healing. It replaces confusion with gratitude. Be careful not to romanticize the past or fear the future. The present moment is where grace operates. Archangel Michael says grace is always current. It does not live in yesterday or tomorrow. It meets you where you are. There may be a quiet invitation now to forgive something or someone you thought you were already over. Forgiveness at this stage is not about reopening wounds. It is about removing residue. God is clearing your emotional hand so you can receive without contamination. Release is not loss. It is preparation. You are also learning to trust your discernment more deeply. Where you once second-guessed yourself, you now pause and listen. That pause is wisdom. It creates space for God to confirm internally what may not yet be visible externally. Archangel Michael says, do not underestimate the power of inner alignment. When your thoughts, emotions, and spirit move in the same direction, momentum builds naturally. You will not have to force doors open. They will recognize you. You may feel a gentle pull toward simplicity. Less noise. Less explaining, less proving. This is not withdrawal. It is refinement. God often simplifies before He amplifies. What is clear carries further than what is cluttered. As this integration continues, you might notice that your confidence is no longer tied to outcomes. You trust God even before results appear. That kind of faith is rare, and heaven responds quickly to it. Faith that rests is faith that endures. There is also a strengthening of your spiritual boundaries happening now. You are less affected by other people's opinions, moods, or expectations. This is not detachment. It is stability. Archangel Michael says stability attracts favor because it can hold it. If moments of silence arise, welcome them. Silence is not emptiness. It is space. And in that space, God often finalizes what He hath been forming. Do not rush to fill silence with activity. Let it work. You are nearing a point of release where what has been forming internally will begin to express itself outwardly in unmistakable ways. Not all at once, but clearly enough that doubt will no longer have room to argue. Stay grounded. Stay humble. Stay listening. Because what comes next will not only confirm the miracle God approved, it will seal it in a way that marks this season as complete and opens the door to what follows. My beloved child, this is the sealing moment. What began as an interruption has now become completion. Heaven never starts what it does not intend to finish, and Archangel Michael stands as witness that this cycle is closing with intention, not delay. You are not standing in uncertainty anymore. You are standing in fulfillment that is still unfolding. What God approved has not been erased. It hath been preserved, protected, and positioned. And now it is anchored. The reason this journey required your attention, your patience, your obedience, is because this miracle was never meant to be fragile. It was meant to last. There is a deep truth settling into your spirit right now. You no longer need signs to believe. You no longer need urgency to obey. You have moved from reaction into agreement. That is maturity. That is authority. Archangel Michael says when agreement replaces anxiety, heaven rests. You may not see every detail completed yet, but you feel something unmistakable inside. Stability, assurance, peace without explanation. That is the confirmation many people chase externally, but God has given it to you internally first. What is rooted inside cannot be stolen outside. This is where gratitude becomes important. Not performative gratitude, not loud gratitude, but settled gratitude. The kind that trusts God even before outcomes finish forming. Gratitude keeps blessings open. It keeps heart soft. It keeps alignment intact. You are also stepping into a new responsibility now. To guard what God has given you. To not downplay it. To not rush it. To not expose it to unnecessary voices. What is sacred must be protected. Not hidden in fear, but honored with wisdom. Archangel Michael speaks clearly now. Do not return to old mental patterns. Do not narrate your life with old language. Speak as someone who knows God keeps His word. Speak as someone who expects peace, not chaos. Speak as someone who trusts timing, not pressure. There may still be challenges ahead. Completion does not mean absence of difficulty, but difficulty will no longer define you. You have crossed a threshold. You are no longer waiting for permission to believe. You already know. This is why this message reached you before midnight. Not to rush you, but to align you. Not to scare you, but to anchor you. Heaven wanted you present for the sealing. And now, before this moment closes, there is a sacred act of agreement that releases completion. Type I receive and I protect in the comments if this message has sealed something in your spirit. Blessing code 9041 is now activated over your life, your decisions, and your future. Now listen closely, because this final moment matters beyond you. As this word comes to rest, I hear the Lord saying, "What I have poured into you is meant to flow through you." This message did not exist only for your miracle. It exists so others who are still searching, still hurting, still doubting, can hear God's voice at the exact right time. I am speaking to you personally now. If this message strengthened you, steadied you, or carried you through a moment of uncertainty, this is your divine invitation to respond. When you gave through Super Thanks, when you joined the membership, or when you support through PayPal using the link in the description, you are not funding content. You are fueling calling. This is not charity. This is obedience. This is seed. This is light being carried forward. And as you sow into this mission, I declare that God will guard what He has given you, multiply what you release, and surround you with peace that cannot be shaken. Do it now. Respond while the door is open. Partner with what God is doing, and watch how He honors your alignment. You were chosen for this moment, and heaven has not forgotten you.